You need to stop the bad habits that are constantly bringing you to a place that you don't want to be. And you may be thinking, well, Victoria, I just don't have the self-control that you do, and I don't know how to stop binge eating or doom scrolling or being impulsive with my spending. And to that, I say, well, you need a strong enough why or a purpose to stop. So I'm going to dive deeper into the concept called an anti-vision. And with this intro, I also want to introduce that I'm starting a new series called Tough Love Tuesday. So every Tuesday of the podcast, you will get an episode just like this that is just straight to the point and still encouraging and practical, but not sugar-coated in any way. So if you're the type of person like me that actually does well with tough love here and there, you'll want to stick around for this episode. And before we get started, I wanted to remind you that I can help you with the habits that you're trying to break or the routines you're trying to create. And so go book a one-on-one coaching session. You will be able to get clear on how to actually start taking action towards those things that you want to be doing and get out of this emotionally, physically, spiritually exhausting survival mode that you've been living in and start living the life that God has called you to live. It's freer. You just feel more peace, more structure, and like you're actually making progress toward goals and actually enjoying life the way that you want to. So the link is in the show notes. Go book a session. And again, the spring pricing will only be available until the end of June and limited spots are available. All right, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to Speak Life for Single Moms. I'm Victoria Garris. After years of struggling to figure out how to balance being a mom, working full-time, and taking care of myself, God showed me that there is a way to create a routine that took me from chaos to calm through time blocking and simple routines. Now, I help single moms take the next right step with God to build a simple, doable weekly routine that gives her time to breathe, take care of her family and home, and still have time for herself. So grab your planner and emotional support water bottle. It's time to go from chaos to calm. So I want to give you a peek into my own personal health journey, and I am someone who was never super skinny or lean, but I definitely wanted to be on the leaner side, and I was a soccer player and I was in the marching band, so I was very active in high school, and I was also very active in my free time as I grew up. I like to go to the gym and go running, and it was just great. I always felt great after a good workout, but I always struggled with food. My relationship with food was just not the best growing up, and I would binge eat, and then I would try to diet, be really restrictive, or track my calories. That just never worked for me. And then I would always feel guilty, and things changed when I had my daughter. I knew that I needed to be healthy, not just for me, but for her, because now I had someone who was dependent on me for everything, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting sick all the time or I had low energy, and I wanted to feel good about myself. So after I had a C-section, I started working out only after about 4 months, and I was doing things very slowly, very gently, because those muscles were healing. And so I just remember being in the mindset of, I don't care how long and how slow it takes. I'm going to keep up this habit. I'm not going to give up. And so fast forward to today, I personally don't have a goal weight. I just go based off of how I feel and how I look in my clothes. And so I have a pair of jeans that I bought 2 years ago, and I've kept them because I told myself I'm going to fit into these jeans. I don't care how long it takes me. And just for reference, they are a size 6. I'm about 5'3". I'm not the tallest person in the world. I'm also not the shortest person, but that's always been the size that I have been comfortable at because I still like to work out muscles. I very much like the lean, muscular physique. That's kind of like my goal physique. But if you are already hearing alarm bells in your mind and you're thinking like, well, I can't do that. I can't try to like get back into like my pre-baby body or like be leaner, like skinnier, thinner, like I don't want to look sick, whatever. Well, I want you to know that whatever excuse is in your mind, you can actually overcome it. And I have heard testimony after testimony and just weight loss journey after weight loss journey from women who struggled with things like PCOS and other hormonal imbalances, thyroids, and things like that, and were able to actually lose weight in a way that was sustainable for them. It was harder for them, but they still did it. And I'm just so encouraged by stories like that because they warn you, like, do not put on as much weight as I did. Do not get so big that you just feel uncomfortable everywhere you go. And some people may think that I'm being rude or offensive, but in my opinion, I really don't care because it's the people who overcome adversity that have the strongest stories to tell. And they really motivate me, and I hope they motivate you because they show you that it can be done, that like no matter what the world was telling them or what their mind was telling them, they said, I don't care. I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to get it done. And so I want to say that as a single mom, that's probably one of your biggest superpowers is that you are able to figure things out. And I want to call out the victim mentality because a lot of people will say, well, I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of having to figure things out by myself. And I totally get that. And if you are not depending on God and you are not spending time in His Word and not praying and not taking even a single second to be grateful for the life that you have right now, then of course you're going to feel tired. And of course you're going to feel like you're burning out because you are actually trying to figure it all out on your own. And I tell you that when I heard advice like this, I would sometimes roll my eyes because I would say, well, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand what's been done to me. You don't understand my situation. You don't understand blah, 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 blah. I'm a single mom, blah, 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 blah. And here's the thing. Nothing will change in your life if you change nothing. And so if you say that you want to start getting 10,000 steps every day, but you are running to the couch or your bed anytime you have a 10-minute break at home, guess what? Of course, you're not going to hit your step goal. And I mean, if that's what you want, that's okay. But if you really dig down deep and think about why you even want to change in the first place and actually become disgusted by what you don't want, and I mean repulsed, and I know that sounds dramatic, but you're going to actually make a change. Because here's the reality. Normal and average today in America is not looking so good. It's currently being broke. It's being overweight. It's being stressed out all the time and not happy with your life. And it's living in a constant state of complaining and just sarcasm and all these negative thoughts. And the thing about complaining is that you could be spending that same breath giving thanks to God for the very air in your lungs that you're using instead of complaining. So there's that. But in this next section, I'm going to tell you how to get crystal clear on what you need to be doing by being aware of what you don't want your life to look like. And I've mentioned this before, but this is called an anti-vision. It's basically the vision of your life that you don't want and you do not dream about. And so you need to get clear about these next 3 things I'm about to tell you. And I'm going to start with fitness, then move on to finances, and then family. So grab a pen and paper, write these down, and let's dive into it. So again, I mentioned my journey as a single mom, like wanting to improve my life. I started with my health and fitness, and I touched on this a little bit before, but this was just such a confidence booster for me, and it still is today, because when you work on your health and when you work on your body, you will physically see results, but also your energy will improve and your mindset will change. And so get clear about what kind of fitness lifestyle, health lifestyle you don't want to be in, because the truth is that a lot of chronic illnesses can be preventable if you start earlier. I know that there are some genetics at play, I'm not denying that, but if you are staying hydrated, avoiding processed foods, processed sugars, because let's get real, I still like to eat fruit and I like to eat a little bit of pasta, I make bread, and like, you have to be mindful of how much of that you're consuming. But if you avoid being sedentary, meaning that you're like not moving a lot during the day, of course you're going to feel horrible. And if you do the opposite of those things, meaning that you actually choose the healthy option, you will feel 100% better, even if you do it for like a week, I promise you. And so whenever I started thinking about this whole journey, I told myself I don't want to be the mom who's always tired and doesn't want to go out and play and doesn't have the energy to get things done around the house or go to the park. And in my current day job, I work from home, so I'm indoors a lot, but I have to start my mornings after the school drop off with a walk. And let me tell you, today it was raining outside. It wasn't thunderstorming or anything like that, but I said, nope, I'm going to put on a rain jacket and still go outside, because what is a little bit of sprinkles going to do to me? Nothing. And so, I have been someone who's consistently been getting my steps in, and I just increased my goal to 10,000, and it's been great. I've been loving it. And so I really encourage you to set a goal for yourself. You don't even need to buy an Apple Watch. Like, if you have an iPhone, and I'm sure there's an Android app for it, you can count your steps and you will feel tons better. You'll have better energy and you'll get better digestion, all those things. So think about the healthy lifestyle that you want, and on a sheet of paper, write down the opposite of that, because the opposite is going to tell you exactly what you need to be doing. And for me, I know I didn't want to be overweight, tired, and not confident in my own skin. And that really pushed me to do the things that a healthy, confident woman would be doing. And I want to say something, because I already know that there's probably some thoughts about, well, this isn't all about vanity. You shouldn't care about how you look. Well, I'm here to tell you that you actually should care about how you look. You should not obsess over it and be worried about it all the time, but you should care how you present yourself, first to yourself in the morning when you look in the mirror, second to your children, and third to the world. Because at the end of the day, unfortunately, people make judgments based on how you look. And we know that as Christians, we should not do that, but there are people who are not Christians and will do that. And so whether it's a job, whether it's at school, wherever you go, you want to look in a way that is respectable. When you look good, you have, taken the time to wash your face, fix your hair, maybe do your makeup, put on a not pajamas outfit, not athletic wear outfit. You are showing yourself respect, and you're also showing other people who have respect. And so I just know personally, I feel like I'm in a better mood. And when I work at home and even on Saturday mornings, I will get dressed. I am not sitting in sweatpants or pajamas all day, because that changes my mindset. It tells my brain, oh, it's time to actually get some things done. And so think of it that way. You're getting ready for the day. You're getting ready to show up as the person you want to be. So moving on to the second thing is creating an anti-vision for your finances. And I know that so many single moms struggle with this. And I feel like, a lot of women try, to do so many things. But if you feel like you can't make progress, I'm going to tell you, you're probably overcomplicating it, because it's very simple. Spend less than you make. And y'all know I love Dave Ramsey, and I've quoted him before, and I have another podcast episode about how to get debt free as a single mom, so go listen to that. But basically, if you currently earn only about $40,000 a year, and you're maybe pulling in maybe $2,000, $3,000 a month, you cannot afford the same type of lifestyle and spending habits that someone who makes six figures does. And so I don't know if that's what you've been doing. I hope you haven't been doing that, but these are the reality checks that you need to have. If you are sticking to your budget, that means that you're maybe putting some wiggle room for a coffee or a takeout night for dinner here and there. But it's not every single night. It's not every single morning, because all those little expenses add up. $5 3 times in 1 week is $15. Multiply that by 3 and you're going to get a bigger number. I'm so sorry, I can't do the math off of my head. But what I'm trying to say is that when you are a single mom, you need to be aware of that. And being aware is the first step. And so I want you to think about the type of person, again, who you don't want to be. Someone who is broke, doesn't have a budget, or at least doesn't even keep track of their bills. They're second guessing every time, when is this bill actually due? And they will always go out to lunch, even when they know that they have stuff to make lunch at home. And someone who is broke is constantly going to want to find emotional comfort through buying things. And this one gets a lot of people sometimes because you think, oh, I'm bored, I just want to go buy something, I want a dopamine hit. But you have to stop thinking that way. If you want to actually save money and stop living paycheck to paycheck, you need to remind yourself, I'm not a toddler, I'm not a young kid who has little to no self-control, and I can actually say no. And so you're kind of like reparenting yourself this way. But the best part is, ladies, is that you have God to help you. You can ask God to heal your broke mindset. Remember last episode we talked about the lies that we were listening to in our heads? Like, go listen to that again and ask God to heal whatever lies you're believing about finances, about your income, about your ability to even get a better job, to even network and meet better people. Like, I'm telling you, you have to kind of like brainwash yourself with people who have gone before you and succeeded in the area that you want to improve. And when I talk about this, I'm talking about Dave Ramsey, because I've listened to his podcast so many times, just so much wisdom from the lessons learned from other people's mistakes. But his message is so simple: live less than you earn, or live on less than you earn. So spend less than the money that is coming in. And if you do that, I promise you, you're going to start seeing progress. And so it's funny because this also ties into the fitness thing, because like if you're someone who's struggling with their weight and their finances, like I know your brain thinks, oh, I'm just going to go to Sonic and get like the $2 mozzarella sticks because it's cheap and like I deserve a treat today. No, you need to stop that, because if that's the identity that you want to live in next year, you're going to see the results of that next year as well. And so if the identity you want to live in is someone who is healthy, financially stable, not stressed about that type of stuff, you're going to start saying no to those thoughts that come into your head. You don't need to be treated with food every single time. And you can look for treats elsewhere. Like you can get a cheap face mask from like the dollar store or something and do a little spa night before you go to bed. And then boom, you have another little relaxing time to yourself. So anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about self-worth with this, because I can already tell like maybe some people are thinking, well, like I don't want to get my worth from just like my looks and my money. Well, no, we know that identity comes from Christ. Like our true self-worth and confidence comes from him. But when it comes to your day-to-day habits, you have to start behaving like the woman that you want to be, because over time you will keep saying no to these things, like buying a lip gloss at Target, or even just going to Target for no reason, which is so popular right now. I don't understand why, but like if you have the impulse to buy when you go to the store, you need to stop going to the store for no reason. And that's going to help you get closer to your goals and become, again, the woman that you want to be. And so you're welcome. But anyways, I want to move to the last point, which is about family and parenting. And I know as a single mom, you are doing two jobs at once, and you're trying to do the job of the father and you're trying to do the job of the mother. But here's the reality check for you. You cannot be a father to your kids. You will never be able to. And that is because you are a woman. And so you can try all you want to have this tough mentality with your sons and your daughters. But at the end of the day, they see a woman. They do not see a man. And so what are they supposed to do with that? Well, you can do the things that are in control. And those are things like following through when you say you're going to give a punishment, and things like taking up the phone or turning off the TV when you say screen time is up, and actually spending quality time with your friends, or not with your friends, with your children whenever you, guess what, don't feel like it. And your children will notice when you put in effort, and they notice when you ignore them, and they notice when they're repeating your name and you do not pay attention to them. And I just want to say, like, think about your future relationship that you want. Would you want to be with someone who's you call their name and they don't respond after like the third or fourth time? That'd be horrible. And this might all sound like so serious, so dramatic, but I'm telling you, it is serious. It's not hard to be a good mom. Because For me, I used to struggle spending time with my daughter because I would get too tired and then I would just turn on the TV, give her screen time. Then later that became a problem and I had to wean her off the screen time. And I'm sure y'all know how it is. But now, like, it's no problem for us to just go outside and throw a frisbee or go on a walk and let her ride her bike and listen to her talk about her day, how she's feeling about things. And I just love it. I love spending time with her. And I want to tell you the simple equation when it comes to love for kids. Love equals time plus attention. And so if you give your kids, just those two things, time and attention, and you want them to truly believe that they have a mom that loves them, then give them those two things. Even if it's for 10 to 15 minutes after dinner, that's a good time before you start to wind down for bedtime. Start there and start seeing slowly over time how you will begin to enjoy being their mom and learn so much about your kids and how curious and beautiful their minds are, because there's so many children out there who are starved from time and attention, and you can see it. And I hate to say it, but they will start to look for it in other things. For girls, they start to look for love in boys, and boys start to look for love maybe even in girls, and just there's a whole multitude of like risk factors that play into that. And so I know it's hard. I know it's tough, but ask God to help you. God is the source of all of your strength. And I'm telling you, He can make a way for you to find the energy and the time. And the thing is, when you start working on your health, on your finances, guess what? Your mind clears up and frees up to not worry about those things. And then you actually have the energy to spend with your kids. And so I know that last one wasn't really as much as an anti-vision, but all these things, fitness, finances, and family, I know that they are areas that you want to grow in and you want to see changes in, but you have to put in the effort, and motivation doesn't last long. And so a quote I've been telling myself is that I stick to the plan, not the mood, because there are mornings where I don't want to get up. There are weeks where I'm on my cycle and I don't want to do like even just a light walk, but I do it anyways because I know that I'm voting for my future self. And so I know that you do not want another year to go by of being in the same place, stuck in the same habits, same old lack of routine. No, you want to actually take the right steps. And so again, if you need help in what exactly those right steps are, go book a one-on-one coaching session. The link again is in the show notes, and you will get to see how simple it is to actually start implementing small, sustainable, healthy habits in your day. So go book a session, and I thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I hope it encouraged you, challenged you, inspired you in the best way, and I'd love to hear what you thought. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for listening to my mom's podcast. If you liked it, can you please leave a review so that more moms like you can find it? Bye!
Hi, friend. Thanks so much for listening to today's podcast. It is such a blessing to be able to serve single moms and to encourage you in your walk with Christ, but also helping you build a life with simple routines that bring you joy, energy, and help you enjoy motherhood. It would be such a blessing for you to share this episode with another single mom who could use the encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe and leave the podcast a review. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.